Right, I'm going to explain some miscalculation I made. What's this? Redundant transition. What the hell does that mean? Right. When I balanced all my coils out, I overlooked something, and I'll explain it. I know why it's no longer speeding up under load. I'll explain it. Uh, Sorry, looks so cluttered on here. Right, we've got four sets of generator coils. I'm not going to draw four pairs of generator coils. I'm not going to draw all of them because it just makes it messy. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw uh, an X. All right, X. Right, so X marks the spot basically. Right, so we have four generator coils. Right now, when the each pair of coils on say this X whatever goes through the triac circuit on my circuit board. Now, when we use the cascade circuit, what happens is we have power that comes from one coil set, and we have our waveform. Right. Okay. Right. Now, if all the coil sets are exactly the same and we pass the pulse from this coil set through the triac circuit and there's a slight delay and we pass it through to the next set, what we're effectively getting when it's connected in the right way, we actually cancel out the power, so we end up getting no current. Now, I was laid in bed last night and it just hit me. I realized what the problem was. The power factor is being cancelled out. It's been negated. How do we overcome that? Now, each coil set. Now, I'm just going to go over to this side of the piece of paper. Each pair of coils is in series. So I'm just going to draw the two. I'll just draw a coil actually. Right, we've got two coils on each set. Right, sorry, it's not a very good drawing, I know. And they're wired in series, right? But the actual, instead of being tied together like that, we actually have the tail end coming out. So let me just scratch that out with my knife. This is messy, I know. Right. Right. Stop it, knife. Go away. I'm covering up the camera again. Right, so we have the tail end going down to our circuit, which is the triac circuit, and the other end is going to the bridge rectifiers, which is our output section. So that's going to the bridge rectifier circuit. I'm just going to draw a box like this, and right. And then we have our plus and our minus, whatever. It goes to the output circuit like that sort of thing. Now, when this, because of the impedance, what we have to do is we have to have different impedances to solve the problem. Otherwise, we just cancel everything out, you see. So what we have to do is, instead of these, all these sets of coils being identical, which is the problem, and I didn't realize it, it hit me later. I thought, oh, I know what the problem is, because what we have to do is keep the impedance low on the tail side of this coil set. We have to keep this impedance low, and the only way to do that is so that we can still get our output power, but we use the current on this side as our drag cancellation. So what we do is we basically have this coil set as a fewer turns or thicker wire, so that we actually induce more current on this side and we have less voltage, so we can actually reduce the drag on the system, so we can accelerate like we were doing before. So what I'm talking about, right, is let's go to the waveforms, right? So we have our waveforms from the coil set, the first coil set, which is something like this, right? And the waveform on the actual anti-drag cancellation circuit, which is reduced, it's actually getting a smaller voltage because we don't want to lose the voltage on the output side, which is on the top end here. Because if we have the same impedance, same resistance on this side, we actually lose our output on this side. So what we have to do is we have to keep this side that's going to the next coil through the circuit, we have to keep this impedance as low as possible so we can maintain our output. So what we do is we have a thicker wire on the second coil set. So I'm going to call this I'm just going to put E for exit coil, which is a lot easier. And so that's E. That's a low impedance. So that's the generator coil, and this is E as well. So we basically have low impedance on the tail of that one. The exit coil is there. The low impedance of that one. The exit coil is there, and yeah, anyway, so what we'll see on the tail of the generator coil coming out of here is effectively a very small waveform. So instead of having a big waveform like that, we have a much smaller waveform, but we have more current. So we have more current because the output current that we're actually drawing through the system is loaded down more on the exit coil, or the second and fourth sets. So it's the second set and fourth set coils are actually wound with thicker wire or fewer turns, so that we don't lose our output, so it just doesn't cancel itself out. So we have two different impedances. We have a high impedance and a low impedance, a high impedance and a low impedance. Alright, you get that? So by keeping the impedance on the second and fourth stages low, we maintain our output, which is a high peak waveform to generate, to charge into the load or whatever. And the actual tail side has a smaller waveform, but it's more current, lower impedance effectively. So what we're doing is transitioning the impedance from high to low through the system. So we go high, low, if you get the idea. Anyway, so I thought I'd explain that. I haven't been doing much lately because my back's still healing, and yeah, I'm still not right, and I can't bend over things when I'm doing this. I get backache every time I do that thing, so I decided just to chill out and try and think about things for a while. I have got something else in the pipe as well. My transformer chokes, I was thinking about these. I've ordered some wire. It should be arriving probably on Friday. I can still wind the chokes, even though because I can just sit here and wind them with my coil winding thing without having too much trouble with my back. But I have had some other ideas about that. Something something else I want to try at some point. I'm not going to talk about it yet because I still haven't worked out all the bits and pieces. But it's basically based on something I did a few years back with my with a previous device which I made, which with the new transformer lamination is going to make it a lot easier to keep the impedance and the losses minimal, the impedance low and the losses minimal. Anyway, so I hope you understand what I'm talking about here, because I don't know how else to explain it, but so the input side is voltage, is primarily voltage, high impedance voltage with current output, and the second stage is more current based with low voltage, so with low impedance. And because it's low impedance, it minimizes the amount of loss that we see on the output of the front end of the series coil array. If you get that, I think you should understand that. Because what I did with this system was I wired it up with all the coils on the generator, so they're all pretty much the same. And every time I tuned it, what was happening was because the actual drag cancellation coils were getting basically the same kind of voltage from the magnet rotors, it was just cancelling out the power so I wasn't able to achieve that anti-drag with these coils, but I did try them with my exit coils. What the exit coils themselves, these things were I put these back in. I can't get them in the right position because they really need to be overlapping with the generator coils, and it's not really easy to get them in the right position for that because you can't have two things occupying the same space, if you know what I mean. So anyway, yeah, that's all I've got right now, but thought you might find that interesting. I'm sure you can figure that out. I mean, if you think about it the other way around, imagine that the second and fourth stages were even thinner wire. The impedance would be so high that they wouldn't actually have any thrust whatsoever because they'll be actually producing voltage instead of the actual primary first stage and third stage coils. So yeah, these definitely need to be um, on on the low side, low impedance. Yeah. Anyway, I'm waffling. Thanks for watching.